Hey Aries, welcome to Divine Duality Tarot. My name is TJ. I have a romantic reading for you for the month of July. What I'm going to try to do here is get a good idea of what's going on between you, your romantic interest for that month, just to give you a little heads up as to what's going on. I'm sure you wouldn't be here unless you knew there was an issue. So what I'm going to try to do is get a good idea of the underlying issue here, what's actually at the root of this problem. And sometimes we may not see the issues from the, you're right now in the crosshairs. You're the one who's actually dealing with the issue, and a lot of times you can be kind of blinded as to what's going on. So hopefully I can give you some insight from the outside. Would that be outside? Outside, maybe? So, questions for another day. What I do is I draw 3 to represent your energy. Sometimes things jump out. And then I draw 3 for your interests energy, whoever that person is to you. And then I draw another 3 to kind of get a good idea of the energy between the two of you. A lot of times it is the problem, but once everything is out in the open, we'll be able to see how everything is affecting each other. More or less, it's the cause of it. So, most of the time, this is pretty straightforward. You know, the messaging's real clear. Every once in a while, something just needs clarified. I do have a second deck here that has been completely unused, that is ready for that task or additional questions should we need it later on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with you, Aries. Let's go over what's going on with you, get the meaning of these first, and then we can kind of piece it together and get how you are deep down, what is actually going on in you. Leading it off, excuse me, is the 5 of Wands, which is overwhelmed. It's drama. I mean, there are things going on outside of your control that is affecting you. It's drama. Then you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is the completion of a cycle. It's the beginning of a new phase. It's fate coming to pass. I'm not saying that this is this exact circumstance, Aries, but to kind of get a good idea of what completion of a cycle is in a relationship, it's going from one phase of it to another. Best example, huge broad example, could be something a lot more narrow. Broad example is going from dating to marriage. You've completed one cycle of the relationship, which is the dating cycle. You have completed that, and now you have moved on to a new cycle. Or a new cycle of the relationship could be no longer in a relationship. You've done the dating, you've done the marriage, and you've hit that end point, and now you are both your own separate ways. Those are completions of one cycle and the beginning of another, where one thing ends, something else begins. Good times end, bad times begin. Bad times end, good times begin. All cycles, all phases. Then we have justice, which is accountability. It is the truth coming to light and justice being done. It's actually receiving the ending of a situation. It's kind of like you're getting what you asked for. You've gotten justice, a good ending. What we have here is a completion of a cycle that you haven't got that justice on, and it's causing drama. This is one of those situations where something bad has happened and the other person has not got what's coming to them yet. They haven't admitted that they're wrong. You have not got your peace of mind to know that your side of the problem isn't all on you. It's kind of one of those things where you know you're right, but they won't admit that. And this is how I know that. What they're showing is strength, power moves, bold action. And then on top of that is apathy. Four of Cups, apathy. They're not listening to you. And then, oh, this is the worst one. They have the Magician. The Magician is an energy of manifestation. This person not only has their will, but they're doing a really good job of conveying it. This person might have you on the path to believing that you are actually wrong. I don't want to say gaslighting because that term is so overused, but when you have somebody who's really good at conveying their meaning, when you have somebody who's really good at projecting their feelings onto others, somebody who is in that instance controlling, I'm not saying that they are overall. People do go through phases in their life. Some people stay controlling buttholes their entire life. Some people go through a moment of where they become somebody that we don't recognize. But in this case, we have you overwhelmed because you know the end of a cycle has occurred. The end of a situation has occurred, and you don't feel like you've gotten the resolution that you want. They, on the other hand, are ignoring the issue at hand, which is your emotional well-being in this situation. They're refusing to even acknowledge that there is a problem. They're the one with their arms crossed. Okay, who cares? Or, okay, that's cool. Why don't we get back to doing what I want to do? Because they're the one with strength. They're the one projecting. So, Aries, right now, you are ignored. They're not taking this seriously, and it's eating away at you. Let's find out what the problem is deep down. The Sun. The Sun is a brighter future. It's better days. It's future happiness. It's building toward a better future. I mean, it doesn't get better than a baby riding a horse with the sun smiling at him. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. This is the happy ending. This is that proposal. This is the end of this phase. You want it to end on a good note. And a lot of times ending on a good note is stepping further. So let's say you're not even in the actual dating phase. Say you're in the casually seeing each other, courting phase, and you're hoping that this person says, hey, let's be exclusive. Let's make it, let's bind this contract a little more and make it where you don't have to worry about outside factors coming in and stealing them away. You're not getting a good end to this phase. Then you have the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is a new love. Ace of Cups is a new, so new love can mean one of two things. Love is a subjective term. A new love can be a new person. You could find a new love in a new person. Or you can also find new love in the same person. I'm sure you've heard of the whole rekindling a relationship where you reignite that passion. That's what you're wanting. You're wanting to reignite passion. You're wanting things to get back on track because this phase is not a good one. It's been this rocky road and it's not quite come to fruition. And they don't even seemingly care. They have King of Pentacles, which is wealth in the physical world. What this is showing me, okay, a lot of times wealth in the physical world has to do with money, has to do with possessions. It can also be your own flesh and blood. And I know that one seems like it's coming out of left field because everything here has been about emotion. And then you have that physical object thrown in there. Do you not feel adequate enough? Do you not feel like you are as attractive as you could be? Is this a period of self-doubt in the physical world? Do you feel like there might be other people who are encroaching on your territory? And this person does not seem to care about the problem. This could be one of those, they have a friend. They have a friend who's female, and that other friend is getting a lot of attention, and it kind of makes you wonder, what does that friend have that I don't? Why do I not have the same attention? But you also have to ask yourself, and this is an inflection point for you, Aries. Is it something to be truly worried about? Not all friends. It's said a lot that men cannot have female friends. It's impossible. They're always going to develop a romantic relationship. It's a trope. It's always been said, and the reason why I can say that from my point of view is because I'm male. But I'm telling you from my point of view, you can have friends and not be romantically interested in them. So ask yourself that. Are you making this more than it actually is? Or is there an actual reason to be upset? Because right now, the one who's completing a phase, the one who's seeking justice is you. And they're completely oblivious to it. They're still moving forward. And they're still kind of cutting in the middle. They're not really giving you the attention to this problem that you're seeking. They may not know how to give you that attention. This may be new to them too. You're seeking a new level of happiness, of power, of love. You're seeking a new level of wealth, of personal wealth, of being healthy in the physical world. And when you throw doubt in there, it causes drama. It causes you to be overwhelmed. And then when you have that energy about you, it radiates. Sounds a lot like it's all about you, huh? Don't think for a minute that I'm trying to take anybody's side in this. What I am trying to do is help you to just take a breath and really think about all sides of this. Because if they don't seem too particularly fazed by this, they're going to be absolutely no help in solving it. This is going to be the person that's probably just going to tell you what you want to hear and then move on to the next thing. This is one of those circumstances it's on you to figure out, to solve. And they could very well be a bastard and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. That is always a possibility. However, don't always assume that's the only possibility. Don't always assume, because that never ends anywhere good. Like I said, it could be, but you have to take a step back and breathe for a moment. You're not getting the ultimate outcome that you want. It's not there. It's not there. You want it, you haven't got it. You feel like it's unjust. It has not been brought in front of you. You are left behind in this. It's not a good feeling to have. You know this. You're living it. So I'm going to ask a couple questions, and I'm going to push this all up aside, and I'm going to try to get a little bit of, I don't necessarily want to call this advice, but I do want to call it the most probable outcomes of two extremes. And you can kind of gauge where you want to fall in the middle. The first question is going to be pretty simple. What happens, Aries, if you keep acting the same you are, you keep pushing the same you are, you stay in this mindset, more or less, things don't change from right now? Let's see if this mindset is a good one to continue on. You see I used a different deck for that. This one's been completely opened up. It's not ready to, I shouldn't say it's not ready. It's not been used. Okay. Ask another question. What happens if you polar opposite? You 100% let it go, they win, what happens then? 100% let it go. You wake up tomorrow, I know this isn't really a good possibility, but you wake up tomorrow and I'm no longer bothered by it at all. It's not even a thing anymore. You go downstairs or upstairs or across wherever you live, and you just say, everything's cool. We all good. Things continue as is. Nothing changes 100%. It's like you haven't watched this, you haven't heard my voice, any of the messaging I have here. You didn't look into anything, you just continued as is. You have Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is celebration and emotion. Sounds good, doesn't it? Then you have the King of Swords, which is rational communication, which is being able to communicate back and forth in a very understanding and efficient way. Sounds even better, doesn't it? Guess what crept up again? Apathy. If this continues going on, like it is, with no stop, what this is telling me is you're going to start lying to yourself that things are okay. Because they're not going to change. They're not. They're strong and they have manifestation and they're not invested in the problem. So you're going to be in your own head. You're going to find ways to fool yourself that, oh, it's okay, everything's fine. But deep down, there will always be a problem. You may even allow yourself to completely fall for whatever they're saying. There's no doubt in your mind that they're 100% factually accurate. That causes you to doubt your own intuition. That causes you to doubt your own understanding of the problem. You will have not wrapped your mind around the problem. You will have just accepted their answer to the problem. That makes sense? So what I don't want you to think is that they're right or wrong. Like, from my point of view, what I want you to try to interpret that is, you're not going to come to the conclusion on your own. You're not going to come to the solving of the problem on your own. You're going to fall in line and their truth becomes your truth. You have fooled yourself into just being this. Instead of yourself, you are now this, but you. And you'll be looking at the problem from underneath yourself. Right now, you're yourself looking at the problem. But if this continues, you're going to be beneath yourself. You're going to see yourself okay with the problem. You're going to see your own actions become in line. You will have no control, and this problem will never go away. This feeling that you have will forever be there. That's if you just let it go. That's if you just continue on with how it is 100%. You let go of any inclination to fix the problem. It just 100% stays as it is. It will never change. This problem will stay the same. And if it's devolved into, if your state right now is that of loud arguing, is that of anything like that, it's just going to remain that. And you're not going to get those good outcomes you're looking for. Now, this next question was, what happens if you 100% let it go? Very, very different answers here. You have that Seven of Cups, which is dreaming, which is clarity. This is trying to open your mind to the reality of the situation. This is the beginning of understanding. Then you have the Empress, which is the ability to receive love and give love. This is the motherly figure of the messaging. This is the feminine, the divine feminine figure, somebody who radiates that love and emotion. Then you have that King of Pentacles again, which is wealth in the physical world. They're still not going to change. But if you work to wrap your mind around this situation and let it go and understand that you are worth what you're worth, you will begin to realize that. You can get yourself out of your own head. And if you can get yourself out of your own head, then you can better confront what's actually going on. But as it stands right now, you're not going to get anywhere continuing on the way it is now. You're not going to get through to them. You're only going to put yourself in a situation that is absurdly dangerous to your own well-being. The reason why I say that is other people can lie to us, and we can lie to other people. We are humans. We all are capable of those things. But when you lie to yourself, that is the most dangerous thing you can do to yourself. When you lie to yourself and tell yourself it's going to be okay, or tell yourself, what their truth is what the truth is, and you deny your own intuition, you have suppressed your very being. You have suppressed who you are. You're no longer Aries. You're husk. You're husk puppet. You're just nobody looking from the outside and seeing nothing. But on the opposite side, if you work to get yourself out of that, if you work toward clarity, take that deep breath. Like I was saying at the beginning, it all comes full circle. Like I was saying at the beginning, take a deep breath and get out of your mind, what am I doing wrong? Okay? Get that out of your mind. Erase that thought. When you're doing this thought experiment, when you take that breath, get the whole you part of the equation out and ask yourself, what is the problem? Is it that they're seeing somebody else? Is it that they are preoccupied with work? Is it that we went out to a date and somebody else walked by who I thought was, more attractive. I'm not saying they are. It's in your head. Who you may have thought was competition. You saw your partner look up and see them for, a fraction of a second can seem like an eternity when we're self-conscious. So, they open the door for somebody and that somebody said thank you in a very seductive way. That, in all honesty, that's just how they talk. You got to understand what is really the problem here. Because if they're not taking it seriously, then they might not think it's a serious problem. And in all reality, it may not be a serious problem. But that's up for you. That's up to you. That's up for you to find out. That's up for you to decide. And once you figure out what's at the core of this problem, you, Aries, can address it. If you don't even know how to describe the problem to them, how can they address it in their own head? It could be you coming at them with words and they don't understand those words. Think of it this way. And I try to keep these quick, but I really want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from, because I want you to succeed. If I came to you with a problem and I said, I am just so upset, I can't believe you, why would you do that? What are you thinking right now? Why would I do what? Okay, cool. I feel that you're in distress. Okay, so there's that. Here's the other way to come about it. Hey, when we were out at dinner last night, were you checking that other woman out? Be honest with me. Were you checking her out? Were you checking that other man out? Were you checking whoever that was out? Were you? Because that affects me. I want to be happy, and I need you to just tell me the truth. And it could be something as simple as, I thought they were gonna fall. That person was walking in really high heels and kind of wobbling around. I was thinking, wow, it's kind of funny. I mean, if you don't know how to use them, and it could be comical. You have to address the problem directly. Don't be vague, and that's why you gotta take that breath. All right, Aries? Take that breath. Take that breath, figure out the problem, then you can bring it up with them. And more than likely, that apathy will go away. All right? Aries, I hate to say that it's all on you, but there comes a time when that's the case, and this is that case. But you got this. You have potential. You have the Empress that came up. I mean, come on, the Empress. The feminine, the divine feminine, the understanding, the caring, the loving. Don't take that lightly. Don't take that lightly. Don't take her lightly. All right? So with that, Aries, I really do appreciate you sticking around for the video. I hope it was clear. I hope it was concise. I hope it helps you to better your situation. I truly do. So with that, I'll catch you next time.